I love when I get to bring to you people to share their stories of transformation, manifestation. And today is a very special story because it's my manifestation as well as my guest manifestation and her story as well. So please join me in welcoming Laura Harder to our YouTube video today.
Thank you.
Yeah. I want to share a little bit about how Laura and I met and came to be here today. In 2016, my business was starting to grow and I was dreaming up some support, some assistance. And I know I get this question a lot. How do I build my team? How do I attract people into your work to support you in the work that you're doing in the world? And so for me, it started with a vision of what qualities I wanted in a person, the core values, even where I wanted them physically located and what they would do for me. And so I had this vision and I was dreaming this up. And at the same time, Laura, what was going on in your life at the time?
I was on maternity leave at just kind of near the end, and I was absolutely dreading going back.
So you're at home, you've got an almost 1-year-old, 3-year-old at home, finishing your maternity leave, dreading going back to work. But did you feel like there was any other option?
Absolutely not. No, I was looking everywhere for options. I was looking online for jobs. I really wanted to work from home. With every fiber of my being, did not want to go back to the work that I was doing.
One of the pieces that I encourage clients for is remember the how is none of your business. You've got action steps you need to take, but the overall how is none of your business. And so at that time, through a series of serendipitous events, Laura and I end up connecting.
Yeah.
And that was 5 years ago.
It was really interesting because I'm used to working in corporate culture, in an office with a huge team, and to work one-on-one with you, that was really out of my comfort zone. We gave it a shot and loved it. I loved everything that you were sending my way. And then as we started working together, I started to realize, well, these tasks, it's really a virtual assistant. This job, I didn't even know existed. Mm-hmm. And what was beautiful about it was I could do the tasks, I could do the work flexibly in my own time, like when the kids were napping because they were little, and I could do it after they went to bed. And that was beautiful.
So all of a sudden you recognize, okay, wait a second, there is a way that I can work from home, do work that you're actually starting to enjoy. Your kids are napping, you're able to work. And so then you start to see other opportunities. So for you, remember this. We don't know the whole plan. But as we say yes, as we decide for something, we say yes, we take the step we can, all of a sudden, all sorts of doors open up. And within 6 months, Laura.
So after I started working with you, I started to get a few referrals, started working with other entrepreneurs, and I started to realize I could maybe do this full time. And within 6 months, I had quit my job. I could be there for my kids in a way that I wanted to, and just love the business that I was building.
So within 6 months, sometimes there's a part of us that feels like it's going to take a long time. It's going to be hard, but that business building process, I mean, I watched it, right? It was,
it flew
fast.
Yeah.
So the other part of this that you were brand new to was the teaching and the transformational principles and the mindset and the personal development. So tell me about that experience.
Through working with you, I was invited to participate in this personal development, in visioning for this life that I would love. I really let myself dream, and I don't know if I necessarily believed the things that I wrote would come true. And I can say that from those things that I wrote down on the paper, absolutely everything has come true and more.
You were so open and curious, and you know what, I might not believe it, but let me give it a try. And that's all that I'm inviting you into, is experiment with this. Try it in your own life. Let it prove itself to you. And that's what you were always willing to do and continue to be willing to do.
Yeah.
So you wrote a vision. So share with us some of the things that you wrote down on paper that just felt like this will never happen.
So first of all, being my own boss, absolutely. We touched on that. That is a huge thing for me. I just yearned for that flexibility. I was sitting in a cubicle that was windowless, and I didn't have enough work to keep me busy. And yet I had to sit there till the clock struck 5 o'clock. A huge piece was to work do work that I believed in and my heart was in, and work for companies and entrepreneurs, other female business owners, was such a huge dream for me. And I believe that now I'm living that life where I'm a female business owner that can inspire others.
What were you dreaming about personally that when you wrote it, you just went, I have no idea how this is going to happen?
Yeah. So for me, I always grew up riding horses and being in the country, and I lived in town. And there was nothing wrong with our life and our house. We had a beautiful house in town and a yard and all that. But there was something about just being in the country, and I just would drive through, and just my heart just ached for that space. And again, just the finances, mortgage, how is this going to happen? Where were we going to be? Like, I just had a picture in my mind of what that entailed. And I didn't really believe that that was for us at that time. I thought it would be 10 years, maybe a retirement dream. I don't know. And because I've been doing this work with Stacey, and because I've been asking the question, what can I do to kind of take a step towards that? Even if maybe I don't believe it's possible, what step can I take? Mm-hmm. And I started taking these sometimes baby steps, sometimes big steps. And now I'm living this beautiful acreage life. It happened, and it was actually way easier than it happened. I made it so much bigger in my mind. Mm-hmm. And when we started taking steps, me and my husband, it just kind of opened up in this beautiful way. And I can work on my deck, and the kids are running in the yard, and they're jumping on the trampoline, and we have trails and the trees in our backyard. And it's just so beautiful to come home, and I'm driving through all these acreages, and something I had always pictured for myself is here. It's life.
Here. So what once was an idea on a piece of paper, and again, this is important for all of us, because the process Laura used works with whatever your dream is. So she was dreaming about acreage living and being around animals, and it felt impossible. And maybe one day, maybe retirement. And through this work and that structure of support and thinking differently, well, what if I could? And what's a step I can take? And doors started to open, and it didn't take 20 or 30 years. When you started to take action on it, how long did it take?
Oh my gosh. I want to say 2-3 months. Like, it was real quick.
So within 2 or 3 months of truly deciding for it, it wasn't no longer just an idea, you were living in that home.
Absolutely.
By being inside of the transformational work, thinking differently, what's that meant to your family?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a ripple effect that has happened. Even my husband, who was so rock solid in his thinking, and he would just say that, well, that's just how it is. And I would question him, well, what if it wasn't? What if it were easier than what we think? And he became so much more open in his mindset and in what's available to him. And now we dream together, and it's so fun. Life has just opened up. And for our kids to kind of see, just to have me home more. My husband also now he works flexibly. He's gotten a new job that works for our family life. Life has just opened up. Recently, there was a day, it was just a random Wednesday, and I was saying to Stacey, I'm heading out to the barn to have a horseback riding lesson. And I just had this moment of complete gratitude. I just picture that previous self sitting in a cubicle, tied to the Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and not thinking that was ever possible to go out and ride a horse on a Wednesday. And I just had this complete moment of gratitude that this is my life. I get to do this. My coach just asked if I could come earlier, and I was like, yeah, I can. And I built that, and that's amazing. And I'm just so grateful for the new mindset and the ability to design my life the way I want. Yeah.
Life looks good on Laura, doesn't it? And that's what living that authentic life, that living your life you love. And now there's new dreams and new goals.
Absolutely.
And the story goes on. It's been 5 years, Laura, and I just want to thank you. You have been a dream come true for me and for the work that I get to do in the world and for all of the clients that we get to serve. So I'm just so grateful to be on this journey with you.
Thank you.
And for you, if you're ready for the kind of results that Laura described, you are sitting in your proverbial cubicle wondering, is there more to life than this? And you know that having some coaching, structures of support, ways to shift your mindset would really benefit you. And now is your time. Go ahead, book a time. Let's have a conversation. Let's have that complimentary strategy session. It's where Laura and I started 5 years ago. And look what she's been able to manifest over the last 5 years. So if that's you, go to the link below, click that calendar link, and let's get you started. Here's to you living a life you love.